Jaralim Harjema Ben de Havokel Nuráma, which means hello, my name is Ben, and I created the Nuráma language. Tharlim Haludas Jasmine Harjel, which means today I will teach Jasmine my language. So that will be the extent of my Nuráma speaking. I'll speak in English for the rest of the video. But I wanted to start with some self-introductions. So for those who don't know me, my name is Ben Norton. I'm originally from Nebraska, America, but I've been living in Tokyo for about 7 years. And I've been working on this language ever since elementary school and have been developing it into a spoken language after creating the written language when I was younger. And as I mentioned, today I'm joined by Jasmine, so if you want to give a brief introduction of yourself, go ahead.
Hey everyone, my name is Jasmine. I've been in Japan for almost, almost 6 years. And here in Japan, I teach English, but I also am a YouTuber. I love to make videos and share my world of Japan and just different countries, traveling with my family, friends, and people around the world.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Was that enough?
Oh, yeah, it was great. So, as some of you might know, Jasmine's been the voice of some of the other videos where I've introduced the Nuráma language before, one of the characters. And not only is she a YouTuber, she's officially an author now. She has a book out called 30 Days, Reflection, Gratitude, and Kickassery. And not only did I buy this book and complete it, but I completed it in Nuráma. So this book allowed me to develop the vocabulary in my language and also do some great reflection. So I highly recommend getting a hold of this book, and it's available on Amazon. So there's a QR code for those who are interested. I highly recommend it. So, palava, which means let's start. All right, so a little background about the Nuráma language, and I'll be talking to you directly now, Jasmine. The Nuráma language is a spoken and written language I created for a comic book I'm working on with a friend. These are just some of the concept art, or this is just some of the concept art for the comic. We're still in development. But basically in the comic book there's two cultures, and one of the cultures is Nuráma and another culture is Omadi. And the storyline of the comic is the war between them has just ended, and they have to figure out how to get along now. And so it focuses a lot on cultural misunderstanding, lingual misunderstanding, which is something we both experience daily life living in Japan as foreigners. So that's kind of the main content of the comic book, and of course there's more details there, but something I'm really excited about is the language aspect. And the illustrator is a good friend of mine, Maurice Wegulo. Hey Maurice. It's very exciting to be able to collaborate on such a video and on such a comic book. The reason I mentioned videos just now is because I've been making videos introducing the Nuráma language to a lot of my friends and people who are interested in the language. So the main character, his name is Sahashi, and he's half Nuráma and half Omadi. And one of his good friends is Naluna, who Jasmine voiced in one of my previous videos. So as I mentioned before, the Nuráma language is one of the languages in the comic book, but there's another language called Omadi. Today I'm just going to be focusing on the Nuráma language, but maybe in the future, if you're interested in learning the Omadi language as well, I can introduce that too. So for a little more background, when I use the same alphabet I made for Nuráma to write English, the alphabet is called Nordish, because when I originally developed this alphabet, I was just using it to write English. You know, I didn't have like a spoken language for it. And with my last name being Norton, all my friends kind of as a joke called it Nordish, and it kind of just stuck. So it wasn't necessarily a name I came up with, but that was the name of it. So to show the distinction between it, Nordish looks like this. So phonetically, this means hello, and it's pronounced hello. But if I use the same alphabet to write the Nuráma language, hello in Nuráma is Jar Alim. As you can see here, which is a phrase we'll review a little bit later. But it's similar to how the Latin or Roman alphabet is used to write various languages. So for example, hello in English or bonjour in French. Same alphabet, but different language. That's kind of how Nordish and Nuráma work. Basically, Nordish means it's English, and Nuráma means it's the Nuráma language. So a lot of people, when they see my language, they think it looks like Arabic, and I can totally see that, especially since it's kind of got the same baseline going on. But I just wanted to point out some of the differences because a lot of people think, oh, you just took from Arabic and you kind of copy and pasted that. But as we'll learn today, it's quite a bit different than Arabic. I won't get into too much detail on how complicated Arabic is. But basically, in Arabic, most of the letters connect to each other, not all of them. But one of the biggest differences you can see just surface level or in appearance is that in Arabic, you can kind of see all these loops going on. And that's not really something that's actually part of the Nuráma alphabet. I don't have any words that loop. So in my eyes, you know, I see quite a distinction, but probably people who aren't familiar with Arabic or my language at all might think they look the same. But ironically, I have a lot of friends who are native Arabic speakers, and they look at my alphabet, they're like, dude, it totally looks like Arabic. So it's hard to convince everybody, but just in my opinion, that's some of the differences. So finally, I'm going to begin introducing the language, Ramade Nuráma, which means introduction to the Nuráma language. So today you'll learn how to say the following phrases in Nuráma. Hello, nice to meet you, what's your name, and my name is. So I wanted to start with talking a little bit about the writing system and the vowels. So in the Nuráma language, and especially in the writing system, vowels are very important because they're going to dictate if a verb or if a word is a verb, an adjective, or a noun. So the 5 basic vowels are actually stolen from Japanese, a language you already know. So this will probably be familiar to you. So the first vowel in Nuráma is A. Next you have E. Next you have U. Next you have A. And what do you think the last one is?
Oh!
Exactly. So you have A, I, U, A, O, which of course is directly stolen from the Japanese vowel system A, I, U, A, O. But this basic vowel system is used in a majority of languages around the world, so it's not necessarily only unique to the Japanese language. But as far as the order is concerned, I took it from Japanese as opposed to English, which is A, E, I, O, U. So just as a quick review, this is A, and you can see it has a straight line. E has a curvy line. U kind of has a jagged line going to the right. A is kind of curved in like a hook. And then O, which is kind of just, I guess, a flag going off to the side. So after learning these 5 vowels, we'll do a quick quiz. Just try your best. See if you can remember some of them. I hate to put you on the spot, but all right. So quiz number 1. Any idea what vowel this is?
Ah.
Good. How about this one?
Ooh.
Good job. And you can kind of see it looks like a U on the bottom.
No, it doesn't.
A little bit.
I just remembered because you said it's going like to the side.
Okay, well maybe that helps you remember it too. How about this one?
A.
Yeah, good job. And the top tail kind of looks like the bottom tail in E, so that's one way to remember it.
Yeah, yeah. Wait, which one? E?
No, it's a trick question. It's A again. I'm sorry.
I thought like at first I'm just like it looks like
yeah, I might have repeated some of them. That's not even fair.
You're so mean.
I know. I'm sorry. How about this one?
This one is E.
Good job, man. You're a quick learner. How about this one?
Is this A?
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm suspicious.
No, don't be suspicious. What about this one?
O?
Yeah, man. I think you got a perfect score.
No. U.
Another try. It's curvy.
Oh yeah, no. U is the one that goes like that. This is fun. E.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
How about this one?
No. I'm getting scared.
It's the last one.
Oh.
Yeah. Good. So we'll be reviewing those again, but I just wanted to quiz you on them. So the structure of the vowels is actually really important in the Nuráma language. So if you notice, each vowel has what's called a hook, a base, and the stem. And the stem is what dictates the vowel's pronunciation. So for some uniformity, every vowel has a hook and a stem and a base that are pretty much the same. But the stem changes, and the stem is what's giving the vowel its sound. So as you can see, all the hooks and bases are the same in these vowels, but the stem is what's changing. So these are called single vowels. All the single vowels, all the single vowels, all the single vowels. Put your hands up. So anyway, we also have flowing vowels as well. Now, flowing vowels are used for words with more than one syllable. So if I have a word like cat, that's one syllable, that's going to have only one vowel, it's going to be a single vowel. But if I have the word like kitty, I have two vowels going on in there, and so you would have a flowing vowel. And a flowing vowel is just the single vowel juxtaposed, or kind of reflected, if you will. And it doesn't change the pronunciation, it's just merely for appearance. So it's the same exact pronunciation, so ah, e, u, a, and o. So we have single vowels, we have flowing vowels, and then the very last one is a final vowel. So in the Nuráma language, the last letter in every word is a little bit unique. I'll get into more detail about that. But final vowels are used for words that end in a vowel. So we'll look at some examples, but this is a sound ha, ah. So if the word ends with the ah sound, it kind of looks like a flowing vowel, but it's got a dash on top and then this kind of flowing line at the bottom. So this is ah, e, u, a, and o. So this will start to make a little more sense once we learn some more words. So some vocabulary. So, any idea what this pronunciation is? Correct, it's ah. So ah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So ah is actually a word in Nuráma, and it's probably the most important word. It means to be. To be or not to be, as it were. So, if I put an H sound in front of this, it means I am. So, repeat after me. Ha.
Ha.
So that means I. Now, if I put a T in front of this verb, it means you are. Repeat after me. Ta.
Ta.
So ha, ta. These are really important as we move forward. Next, we have za. If I put a Z sound, it becomes he or she. In the Nuráma language, we don't dictate between male or female. Because if the person is already known, you don't necessarily need to, say he or she. If the person you're talking about has already been mentioned. So in Nuráma, he or she is za. So repeat after me. Za.
Za.
Like an Italian saying pizza. All right. So a quick quiz. Here we go. What does this mean?
I am.
Good. How about this one?
You are.
Good. And this one?
He, she is.
Do you know the pronunciation?
Is this... Oh, sorry. Yeah,
That's
it's
okay.
right there. Ha, sha.
An Italian saying pizza?
Za.
Nice. Good. So you have ha, ta, and za. Those are just the three we'll learn for today. Okay, a little more of the quiz. Any idea of this pronunciation?
Ta.
Good. How about this one?
Ha.
Nice. So now I want to talk about vowel diacritics before we move too far ahead. So a diacritic is a marking indicating a difference in pronunciation. Kind of like how the word cafe has a little dash above the E. That little dash is a diacritic. So that little line is telling you to pronounce the E sound, not as E, but as A. So in Nuráma, we also have diacritics. As a review, this is the vowel ah. But if I add a little dash on the bottom, it gives it the R sound. So the pronunciation here is R. So you can kind of see this little dash at the bottom is giving it the R sound. So an example word would be like star. It's the R in the word star, in the English word star. So if I put a dash underneath E, it becomes ear, and it's pronounced just like ear. If I do it for oo, it becomes For example, the word sure. If I put a dash underneath, it becomes air, like in the English word air. And then if I put a dash under O, it becomes or, as in the word door or the English word or. All right, so quick quiz. Try your best. Don't worry if you get some of them wrong. Any idea of this pronunciation?
R.
So what's the basic vowel?
Or.
Good.
Oh.
You're right. Or. So you can look at the basic vowel at top and you see that's an O. When you put a dash underneath, it becomes or. How about this one?
This one is
Good
like
job.
sure.
That's perfect. How about this one?
This one is R.
Yar, like a pirate. How about this one?
This one is ear.
Good job. So next we have vocabulary number 2. So without the dash, this is pronounced ha, but when we put the dash, it becomes har. And har in my language means my or mine. So ha is me, har is mine.
Okay.
So this is tar. What does tar mean in my language?
Yours?
Exactly. It means your or yours. How about czar? Well, I guess I gave it away, but the pronunciation is czar. Sorry about that. Zari. Anyway, wow, that wasn't an intended pun. I'm so sorry. But anyway, so har means mine, tar means yours, and czar means his or hers. So I want to introduce a new vocabulary word, which is something you've heard before as you were doing the voice of Naluna in some of my previous videos, and that's jar. Do you remember what jar means by chance?
I remember jar alim.
Yeah. So jar means
My
good.
my?
No, it means
okay,
good.
okay.
So the j sound doesn't necessarily indicate a person speaking in this case. This is a separate word from har, tar, and zar. Jar just means good in my language. So, as you already said before, hello, which is jar alim. So jar means good, and alim, any idea what alim means?
Day?
Exactly, it means day. So jar alim, it means hello, but direct translation, it means good day. So I'll get into a little more detail about how this is constructed. But I want to talk next about the last group of diacritics. So if I have a basic vowel, I can put a dash underneath, and that gives it the R sound. But we can also put dashes on top of the vowel. So this is ah. If I put a dash here, it becomes ah, as in the word map. So it's a very subtle difference. It's the ah sound. And English doesn't necessarily distinguish through diacritics the pronunciation. You know, when we're kids, we're just learning that, you know, ah has multiple pronunciations. So e becomes I, as in the word dish. And u becomes as in the word cup. Don't worry, there's not a quiz on this. So this is a little complicated, so you can relax on this one. So not only can I put diacritics on top, I can put 2 dashes at the bottom of the vowel. And if I put 2 dashes, it's giving the vowel kind of an E sound at the end. So u becomes as in the word should, could, would. It's a weird vowel sound we have in English, that sound. So it's not ah, it's not oo, it's not it's So as in should. Kind of like James Brown saying like that's the sound. It's like with your bad self. So anyway, next we have the A, and if I add an E, it's making it A, as in the word day. So when we say the word day, we're not saying de, we're saying day. So we're adding this weird E sound at the end, day, and your mouth is kind of going wide. So those 2 dashes at the bottom are giving it an E sound. Any idea what this might be pronounced as?
Ah.
So what's the base vowel? Is it? Okay, good.
What do you mean?
That's correct. So if I add an E sound to O, what does it sound like?
Yo.
Put the E at the end of O.
Oi.
Exactly. Great job.
Oi.
It's oi, as in the word toy. So this can be pronounced as one syllable. It's oi. It's not O-E, it's oi. It's one syllable. So that's why we're putting it. I could write it O-E and get that oi sound. But this diacritic gives me that in one syllable. So we have oi. We also have one last diacritic, which is a hook at the top. And this one's a little difficult. This one is pronounced I, as in the word I. Now, it would make sense for me to put 2 dashes underneath ah to make it ah-e. That would make sense logically. But there's a reason I have to use this diacritic, and I'll show that a little bit later. So if I add this hook diacritic to O, it becomes ow, as in the word now. So we have I and we have ow. Now, the reason I needed to put a hook to make the I-E sound is because if I put 2 dashes underneath, there's another diacritic with the one dash underneath that would give it the R sound. And so this is pronounced as ire, as in the word fire. So fire, it's ire sound. So it's I and combined. Now, if I put 2 dashes and then 1 dash underneath, it kind of looked awkward. It was 3 dashes at the bottom. So that's why I had to create this other diacritic of the hook to give it the I sound. I know it doesn't make too much sense, but it's like explaining a real language. Not that many things in Japanese or English make sense, but so it's a bit of an exception. So if I have ow and I add an R sound, we get hour, as in rush hour. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Okay, here we go. So verbs. So we're finally getting into more of the grammar here. So something really neat about the Nuráma language is you can tell if a word is a verb, an adjective, or a noun just based on how it looks, even if you don't know the pronunciation. And I'll explain how that works. So all of the verbs in Nuráma start with a basic vowel in their first syllable. So a, I, u, a, o. If you see a vowel and there's no markings around it, no diacritics, then you know that word is going to be a verb.
Oh,
so
okay.
Each basic vowel is associated with a body part. So this is another cool concept. Not only do all verbs start with basic vowels, each one of these vowels is associated with a certain body part, and therefore the verbs that these vowels are used to make are also associated with the verbs for that body part. So, for example, a means mouth, I means eyes, u means ears, e means nose, and o means hand. So it's also not associated with the body part, but one of the 5 senses. So, taste, sight, hearing, smell, and touch. So, a quick quiz. That was a quick review. A is mouth, I is eyes. It's like head, shoulders, knees, and toes kind of thing. U is ears, A is nose, and O is hands. So, which one's this?
Mouth.
Good. How about this one?
Ears.
Good. And one way to remember is it kind of looks like ears like jetting out, kind of a little bit.
Hands, right?
Yeah, nice.
Oh, eyes.
Good job. How about this one?
Ears.
One more down.
No. 1 second.
I think you knows it.
Nose?
Yeah. She knows it. Good job. I'm sorry, I love puns. All right, so all of these verbs using these vowels are associated with one of those body parts or one of the 5 senses. So, for example, verbs starting with a, for example, the word to taste or the word to speak start with the letter a. I is to see, but it also in my language means to move. For example, the word iki, which I, of course, took from Japanese, but like a weird coincidence, I think it's Albanian. Iki also means to go. I just found randomly on the internet, which is crazy that there's like this weird coincidence between like Albanian and Japanese. So people think I stole like iki just from Japanese, which I did, but it also means to go in other languages. So that's kind of a bizarre coincidence. But the reason I chose this verb or this vowel to mean the verb to move is because our eyes move all the time. And so that kind of evokes movement. So naturally, to hear starts with the oo sound for ears, but also to think because we're hearing thoughts inside our head. So like when we think in Nuráma, the word to think starts with the vowel oo. Nose means to smell, but it also means to meet. And the reason is because the characters in my comic book, they're not really a particular animal. They're kind of rodent looking like, but they also kind of look like dogs. So, but they have a really heightened sense of smell. And so they can smell who's around, just kind of like how dogs do. So since this language is for those characters, the word to meet someone also is associated with the word to smell someone. And then lastly, hands naturally mean to touch or to feel. And verbs that start with O, it can also mean feeling as something you touch, but also like a feeling as an emotion as well. So that covers a lot of the verbs. So when I have to create verbs in my language, I'm thinking, well, what's the predominant sense here? Like if I'm, for example, like the word to guess, well, the predominant sense is, thinking here, so it's like listening, so ears. Or like, eating, oh, well, it has to do with the mouth, and it's going to start with an ah. So the number one verb I want to teach you today is the word ella. And ella, under my umbrella. I didn't make a picture for that one. I just kind of thought of that now. But ella means to meet. So repeat after me, ella.
Ella.
Good. So ella means to meet. So all verbs start with a basic vowel and are conjugated using an initial consonant. I know that's a lot of words that probably don't make a lot of sense to you, but I'll explain what that means. So as we learned earlier, if I put an H in front of ah, it becomes I am. So if I put an H in front of ella, it becomes hella, which means I meet. This is hella awesome. So go
tella
ahead.
is you meet.
Hella is I meet.
Tella.
Hella. Oh yeah, so tella.
So tella.
Exactly. Very good. So jumping ahead, you're right. So tella means you meet. Exactly. So hella, tella. So I could say helata, which means I meet you, or tellaha, you meet me. And of course, if I add the Z sound, it becomes he or she meets, zella. So hella, tella, zella. So the roots of all of the verbs start with a vowel. And when I add one of those consonants in front of it, it dictates, who's doing the vowel, conjugates the vowel. Or conjugates the verb, I'm sorry. It says who's doing the verb, conjugates the verb. So I can also conjugate it by, past tense, negative tense. So if I add an N in front of it, it means to not meet as negative tense. So nella, in this case. That's just simple negative tense. If I add the V sound, it makes it past tense. So vela means I met, and this is past tense. If I put an M in front of it, it's the ing sound in English. So mela, I'm meeting someone. This is present progressive tense. And as another example, if I put the L sound in front of it, lela, this means I will meet. So this is like a future tense. So halelata means I will meet you. I'm kind of jumping ahead here, but I will meet you. If I put ha in front, ha lela. So ha lela means I meet. Now, this gets a little bit confusing, and there won't be a quiz on it, but just to introduce the concept. So Nuráma has beginning consonants and ending consonants, like uppercase or lowercase in English. And so this is a beginning consonant, this L. But if I move it to the verb to be, and I add it at the end, it becomes an ending consonant. So a few Nuráma letters also have middle consonants, including L. Not all letters have middle consonants, but L just happens to be one. So you can kind of see the L in ella, and you can see the L in hal. So when you are conjugating a verb in Nuráma, and you have to put two vowels in front of it, for example, I need the H sound and I need the L sound to mean I will, we use the verb to be in between. So ha means I am, hal means I will. So halela means I will meet you. So just to make it faster to write, we put what would be the beginning consonant in that verb. We make it the ending consonant of the verb to be. I know it's complicated, but it's like how real languages are. It's a little complicated. So a few Nuráma letters, like I said, like the L sound, have middle consonants as well. So here's the example of L. So putting this all together, halela ta means I will meet you. We've already learned that ta means you. Yeah. So hopefully that makes sense so far. And then just to show a little punctuation in the Nuráma language, like in Japanese, it's a circle at the end for a period, like this. So halela ta, that means I will meet you. So if I put havela ta, this means I met you. So I'm taking that V sound that was past tense at the beginning of the verb, and I'm making it the ending consonant. So havela ta means I met you, as you can see here. And one I didn't introduce, but is important for the next phrase we're going to learn. We've already learned Charlie. So next, I want to learn the next phrase. And the pronunciation at the beginning here is habelata. So if I put the B sound in front of a verb, it means because something. So if I say bella, it means because I met. I won't get into detail. This is a little complicated, but it's a rare grammar rare grammatical pattern. I've explained it in some of my past videos. But if I put habelata, it literally means because I met you. So habelata, this B sound is because. And then I have a comma here for punctuation. So if I put habelata ajar, it means I because, me, you. A, which means to exist, it means it is. And then we've learned jar, which means good. So habelata ajar, if I put this all together, what do you think it means as a phrase?
Wait. It's on the tip of my tongue. I'm trying to like put it into a grammatically correct sentence.
Okay.
Almost like likewise.
So after I say,
in regards to,
well, if I meet you for
thanks
the first
to you.
time, it's a good guess. So after I meet you for the first time, I would say hello. What's the next thing I would probably say if I'm meeting you for the first time? Nice to meet you. Exactly. So it means nice to meet you. So so what I'm saying is because I meet you, it is good. So it's a set phrase in Nuráma meaning nice to meet you. For those who speak Japanese and who are listening, hajimemashite, I mean that literally means almost like it's the beginning of something. It's like it's the beginning of us meeting. So hajimemashite, it's like let's begin, which is kind of a cool way to say nice to meet you. But in the Nuráma language, it's not a direct translation. It's not literally nice to meet you, but it's because I meet you, it is good. So habelata ajar. So phrase number 2 is habelata ajar. So repeat after me. Habelata.
Habelata.
Ajar.
Ajar.
Habelata ajar.
Habelata ajar.
Very good. Very good. One more time. Habelata ajar.
Habelata ajar.
Good. So the B sound, even though it's at the end of that verb, it's liaisons into the next word. So it flows together. So it's not habela, habela. It just flows into it. And so that's just one of the concepts between, you'll see a lot of liaison where the ending consonant flows into the beginning. So next I want to move on to adjectives. So in the Nuráma language, all adjectives have one of these bottom dashes in the beginning or initial, what do I want to say? Onsatsu in Japanese. I can't think of the English word. Give me a second here. Syllable in one of the initial syllables. So like at the beginning of the word. That's terrible. Okay, so anyway. So if the initial syllable has an R sound, then you know it's an adjective. So for example, ha means I, but if I say har, it means mine. Well, grammatically, that is an adjective. So like my book, I'm describing the book with the adjective mine. So it's my book, or it's your book. And so the word jar, which means good, you know it's an adjective because it has that R sound. And good, in this case, is an adjective. So each adjective has one of these letters in its initial syllable. If I only would have pressed next on the slide, I would have come up with the word syllable. I don't know what's wrong with me. All right, so as I mentioned before, the word jar, of course, means good. And we know that because it has the R sound in it. So we know that it's an adjective of some sort. Now, also in the Nuráma language, we can use this dash not only underneath a vowel, but actually in between a vowel and a consonant. So for example, the word kri, which is actually a word you said in one of the videos, ulem kri, which means it sounds fun. So kri means fun. And this R sound is going in between the letter K and the letters E. So not only can adjectives have the dash underneath the vowel, but it can go sometimes in between. So anytime you see this dash at the beginning, if it's underneath a vowel or if it's between a consonant and a vowel, then you know it's going to be an adjective. So I think that makes it a little easier to learn because not only just by listening to the language, you can guess, oh, this is a verb, adjective, or noun, but you can also see it as well. So I designed it that way on purpose. So, quick quiz. Guess if the following words are verbs or adjectives. You don't have to know the meaning, but just guess if it's a verb or an adjective. What do you think?
Verb?
So you can see there's a dash at the bottom.
Yeah.
So if you see that dash, then it's an adjective.
Okay.
So anytime you see that dash, one line, it tells you that it's an adjective. So how about, so this means jar. So how about this one?
So this one is the verb.
Exactly, because there's no markings around it. It's just the basic verb eat. And this means ella to me. How about this one? Is it a verb or an adjective?
This one's an adjective.
Good. And you can tell because there's that little dash in between the K and the E, which means cree or fun. How about this one?
Verb?
Very good. So there's no dash, so you can tell that this is a verb because it's starting with the basic vowel. And this is aji, which means to eat. And if you speak Japanese, aji means flavor, so I kind of stole from that as well. But it's a, which has to do with the mouth, so that's why I used it. How about this one?
Verb?
Good. Again, there's no dash. This is udes, which means to teach what I'm trying to do. All right, good. All right, so next I would like to talk about nouns. So all of the verbs, again, start with a, I, U, E, O, one of the basic vowels. All of the adjectives start with a vowel that has one of those little dashes at the bottom. And basically the nouns are all the rest of those diacritics. So either one dash on top, two dashes at the bottom, or a hook on top. So each noun has one of these letters in its initial syllable. For example, the noun jum. Jum means name, and you can tell it's a noun by those two dashes at the bottom. So a quick quiz. Guess if the following words are verbs, adjectives, or nouns. All right, good luck. Is this a verb, an adjective, or noun? Good, it's a verb. And you can tell just because it's a basic vowel at the beginning. This word is the word okel, which means to create. And it has o, which refers to hands. So when you're creating something, you're using your hands. So that's kind of the concept going on behind that. How about this one?
Noun?
Exactly. So it has two dashes at the bottom, and this noun is jum, as I mentioned earlier, which means name. How about this one?
Adjective?
Great job. Yeah, it's got one dash in the beginning. And as you can see, there's flowing vowels in here where kind of the vowels double. So they have the same pronunciation, but it's used just to make the vowels flow a little bit better for aesthetic reasons. And this is the word carpi, which means funny.
It's a funny word for funny.
Carpi.
Carpi.
So, yeah, zakarpi, which means like he's funny or she's funny. How about this one?
Verb.
Try again.
What? That's not fair.
Well,
Adjective?
if it was a verb, it wouldn't have a dash in the beginning.
Touche. Noun?
Good job. It's a noun.
So there's two dashes? One at the front, one at the back?
Actually, it's not. The dash at the back is the letter M for this word. So not to get too complicated, but you're kind of focusing, or you want to focus at the beginning of the word, because the beginning of the word is what's telling you if there's a verb, adjective, or noun. So it's really that first vowel. If that first vowel has one of those dashes around it, then it's telling you a verb, adjective, or noun. The reason this is a noun is because the dash is on top, not on the bottom, which is giving it the a word, or the a sound. And in this case, it's alim, which means day, like jar alim. So day is a noun. So you can see with the dash on top, it's making it a noun. So just briefly, I wanted to show capitalizing vowels. So this is the word alim, which is day. And if I add this little X-looking symbol in the beginning, that capitalizes the vowel. Otherwise, vowels don't have capitalization. But if I did want to start a sentence with the word day and needed to capitalize it, it would look like that. And the reason I introduced this is because I wanted to introduce the full list of consonants. So these are all the consonants in Nordish. And as you can see, there's beginning consonant, which is uppercase, middle consonant, which is lowercase, or, the first letter if it's within a sentence. And then we have final consonants. And all of these final consonants, as you can see, have stems, just like the vowels. And so basically, the last letter of a Nuráma word becomes a final consonant, and it has a stem that matches the stem of that vowel. Don't worry, there won't be a quiz on this either, but I just wanted to introduce that aspect. And that kind of what gives Nuráma a bit of a unique appearance, because these last letters, sometimes they look similar to their uppercase and lowercase counterparts, and sometimes they look different. Kind of as an example here, I don't know if the screen is showing all of this. Just a moment. There we go. I don't know if the screen was showing all of this before, but you can see, let's just use the letter K as an example. We have uppercase K here and then a lowercase k. It's just like a smaller version. And then you can see the K symbol here at the bottom, but there's a stem, just like its vowel. And then this is a full list of consonants. A full list of vowels that we were learning earlier. And in red, I put IPA, which is not a beer, but the International Phonetic Alphabet, for those fellow language nerds who are really interested in knowing the phonetic base of the vowels. All right, so we're almost done. I wanted to move on to our third phrase of the 4 phrases we're going to learn, which is, what's your name? So we've already learned 2 of the words in this 3-word phrase. The new word we have to learn is the word what, which is pronounced ka. Repeat after me. Ka.
Ka.
Exactly. Ka.
Boston accent. Ka.
Yeah, ka.
In the ka.
Get in the ka. I got my khakis. All right, so we got ka. And then we have tar, which is your. So ta is you. When we add that dash at the bottom, it becomes tar, which is your. So this is a direct translation. What's your? And then repeat after me. Jum.
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 There you go. Kind of like the word could, should, jum. It's that vowel sound. So, what's your name in Nuráma is pronounced katarjum. Repeat after me. Katarjum.
Katarjum.
Good. And try it a little bit faster as kind of one sound. Repeat after me. Katarjum.
Katarjum.
Good. It's the same in English. What's your name? When we say it quickly becomes what's your name? And that pronunciation is kind of changing as opposed to the individual words, what's your name? When I'm saying it quickly, what's your name? It kind of has a CH sound, what's your name? So it's the same in Nuráma, like any other language. When you say it fast, it kind of flows into the next word. So one more time, repeat after me, katarjum.
Katarjum.
Good. So the final phrase that we're going to learn today is my name is. And we actually know all the vocabulary words for this already. Do you know the pronunciation of the first word by chance?
Would it be ha?
So,
har.
Good job. So ha means I, and then har in this case means
Harjum.
Harjum. Very good. Do you know the next pronunciation?
Oi. Oh.
It's a straight line.
Harjum. Ah.
Very good.
Harjama.
Harjuma. Very good. So what this is my name is. Now, the verb ah, which means to be in Nuráma, you can actually put that verb anywhere in any sentence at any time. And the reason you can do that is because sometimes the pronunciation of 2 words back to back is difficult to pronounce. So if I wanted to say my name is in casual Nuráman, I could just say Harjum Ben. But you usually put ah in between to clarify or to make it easier to understand. So it's kind of a separating word. So basically what I'm saying is in Nuráma, you don't need to put ah in this case if you don't want to. But in formal Nuráma, you would, just to distinguish that, you know, the following is going to be my full name. So Harjuma Ben. So repeat after me, Harjuma.
Harjama.
So if I say Harjuma Ben and you wanted to say my name is Jasmine, how would you say my name is Jasmine?
Harjama Jasmine.
Exactly.
Yay.
So a quick quiz. Translate the following sentences. These are all of the phrases that we learned today.
Zar.
You don't have to know.
Car.
You don't have to know the pronunciation. You only have to know the meaning.
Ah, meaning.
So I'll give you a
Your?
hint. The first word is jar.
Mm-hmm.
So what does jar alim mean in Nuráma?
How are you?
Not how are you.
That's good. Something good.
So
right?
good
day. Hello.
Good job. You're able to deduce it. Good. So this is complicated because you're just learning it for the first time. But jar alim means good day, which translates to hello. Good. All right, this is one of the longer ones that we learned. Habelata jar. So if I meet you for the first time.
Nice to meet you.
Exactly. So this is nice to meet you. Repeat after me. Habelata jar.
Habelata jar.
Good. How about this one?
Huh.
I'll give you a hint. The middle word is tar.
Cut.
You don't have to know the pronunciation, just the meaning. What's the meaning?
I'm trying to translate so I can get the meaning, because just looking at it, I don't know the meaning.
Well, you got the first one correct then. Yeah, it's pronounced ka at the beginning. So ka.
What?
Good.
What's your name?
Very, very good. That's awesome that you could figure that out. Yeah. So katarjum, that's what's your name. And again, pronunciation katarjum. And I didn't really talk about the pronunciation or the punctuation, but you can see there's a question mark at the end of this one, and then there's an exclamation mark at the end of this one. So there is some unique punctuation going on, but they're similar to English pronunciation or punctuation. All right, so we've learned jar alim, habelata jar, katarjum. What's the last one?
Har.
Yeah, you're challenging yourself to do the pronunciation. I'm just asking for the meaning, but
yeah, no. It's because for me, it's difficult for me to just look and know the meaning.
Okay.
For me, from the beginning, I was able to really connect the the pronunciation, how to read it.
Yeah.
Was the easier part for me.
That's great. That's great.
So I don't trying to. It's har.
Mm-hmm. Not your.
Your name is. No, Har is my name is.
Very good. My name is. So Harjuma.
Yeah.
All right, great.
Tar is your. Okay.
So tar is your and har is mine. Good.
And zar is his or her.
Exactly. Great job. You got a good memory. So before we summarize for today, for those interested, just to talk about Nuráma grammar. Nuráma grammar is generally subject, verb, object, just like English. So for example, this is hajinim, and it means I eat fish. And so the H sound is the subject, I. The verb, aji, which means to eat. And nim means fish, and that's the object. So it's similar grammar to English, but the verb conjugation is unlike English, where, the verb conjugation is a vowel with a consonant added to it at the beginning. Just as an example of how the grammar works, it's pretty similar to English. So, hajinim means I eat fish. All right, so in summary for today, we learned 4 phrases. Just as a quick review of these phrases before we end the video, repeat after me. Jar alim.
Jar alim.
Habelata ajar.
Habelata ajar.
Katarjum.
Katarjum.
Harjuma.
Harjuma.
Good. There's not many native speakers of Nuráma. It's basically just me and a few of my friends. But you're welcome to join the group of native speakers of Nuráma. So if you meet any native speakers with a big sign that says "I speak Nuráma," so you can use this phrase with them. All right.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Well, today.
Speaking of which. Hanifta, so thank you very much, which means it means I appreciate you. So the H sound, hanif means appreciation, so hanifta. In the other language, which I'm kind of wearing a t-shirt of, that's Omadi. So in Omadi, that's the indigenous language of the island that these characters inhabit in the comic book. That's Maloa. And then to end, Telaris, it means until later. So Telaris. And Ki Solia. So, all right. Well, Hanifta, Jasmine, thank you so much for joining.
Hanifta, thank you so much. This was fun.
Yeah, and I'll definitely be in touch to hang out again soon. So, all right. Talk to you later.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.